Because if you don't work for the money, it's going to be very hard for you to appreciate it.
Very hard. That's just like a scammer that just came up on $1 million.
100%.
Don't know what to do with it. Don't know how to interact with money. Don't know how money flows. Don't know how to make more money. And you just spend.
I call that the prenut. See, a lot of men and women, we have prenut. And the prenut is, you make whatever your job gives you, and you just got that prenut. You just want to spend it. You immediately got some money. You need that instant gratification of, that buy one get one at the mall. You need that instant gratification of the new Gucci. That in all reality you didn't need. So the issue is like we all make money. You make money. You made money today. I made money today. We just spend more than what we make. So it's not that we have a problem making money in America. We have a problem managing our money. And the issue is that we're always a consumer. There's always going to be more consumers than there is sellers.
Who came up with this prenut? You did?
Right now.
Oh. That's going to do numbers.
Describe myself in 2 words, rich and unemployed. These stones cost 2 birds. Let it count it when she bored. Deposit hit checks clearing, ayy, nothing void. I know that ain't my ex calling, null and void. Where we going? Money going up.
All right, welcome to the Rich and Unemployed podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Dubuton, a.k.a. Finessed. And I got a very special guest today. Bro, you rich and unemployed?
Of course, brother.
Of course, you look like
Happily.
it. Happily.
Happily.
Good. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
What's up, guys? My name is Brandon Narain, and I go by Blue Notes Breakdown on social media, and I'm blessed to be here, man. I'm excited. I like being around people that speak the same type of language.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm excited for today's game, bro.
Hey, what's up, bro? Now, tell us what you do, bro.
So,
because you look like a rapper.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this, right? The new entrepreneurs, yeah, we taking over.
We the new rappers.
We the new rappers. We the new dope boys. The dope boys want to be the entrepreneurs, right? But anyways, I'm actually a real estate investor. I started flipping contracts, real estate wholesaling, and from there, man, that's just what changed my life forever. I started to understand that it really doesn't take. I could make a lot more money than I could save it. As long as I found a skill set that can pay me more on the value instead of the time. So that's what I just started doing, trying to figure that out. All roads kept going back to real estate. We keep talking about real estate. So yeah, leveraging 2 pieces of paper and literally just flipping properties, bro.
How long you been in the game?
I started in 2017 as a failed realtor. So I went and got my license to be a realtor. I couldn't find anybody to help me list their property.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, I said, bro, there's got to be another way. I got to bet on myself, right? I got 2 options: go back, live a life of regret. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or just keep trying. So that's when I ended up finding out this loophole.
When you say failed, like, how long before you quit?
When you say quit, what you mean by quit what?
I mean, the real estate, the realtor.
Being a realtor. Yeah. So it was 1 year when I literally, so mind you, I'm working. So let me back up. I became a barber, right? Out of high school, I became a barber, and I was an apprentice. So I had to basically stay in the barber shop. I was a do-boy. I had to clean the toilets, wipe the stations down, help out the barbers. And then after I started learning how to cut hair, I just started to understand that just wasn't something I wanted to do for a long time. I loved the freedom, but at the end of the day of coming and going, but my weekends were sacrificed. I would miss every barbecue, every Easter. I wouldn't be able to do the things I wanted to do. So what I started to understand, this is how my mind started to really change. I read this book called Outwitting the Devil. I don't know if you ever read the book before.
Definitely.
So I started to understand how things were working, and I started to look at everything as far as my earning capacity. What is the roof or the ceiling on what I'm doing? And with being a barber, it was more so I either had to cut more heads or I had to go ahead and turn up the price. The issue was that my competitors are right next to me. And I could be building rapport with one client for so long, and if I'm sick, they go to you now. I come back, switched up on me, and I've been cutting your hair for a whole year. So there's never really no type of loyalty, Everybody be cheating on their barber sometime, right? So that's how it ended up switching over to then going back to school. I went to, the whole community college route. And, I used to take my Pell Grant money, save it up, and try to find some little, investments here and there. And then that's just when I became a realtor. So it was a whole year trying to find somebody to let me list their property or let me help them buy the property. And after time, I was just like, yo, this just isn't for me. I need to find something where I'm the decision maker. Because when you're a realtor, it's really just a high paying job, and you're only as good as your last deal, because of the commission. So I was like, yo, there's got to be something else, another way where I can make money, obviously flipping properties. So that's when I was like, okay, you know what? Let me look into flipping properties, but I need a lot of money. I needed obviously credit. I didn't have credit at that point in time. So I'm like, how else can I get started? And that's when obviously I learned about wholesaling properties.
And what state?
Florida, Orlando.
So that's your niche.
Yeah, that's my niche, and after that, develop into other businesses as well.
Wholesaling, that's the only thing you do.
So basically, that's the only thing I do. But now I teach. I do mindset. I do a lot of everything, right? But I don't like to talk about that, because when you're a master, when you're trying to chase all them rabbits, you're a master at none. So basically, I'm just vertically integrated in real estate, bro. That's just what I like to do. It's where my passion is right now. But more so, going back to that fail, bro, like I started to understand that fail means fear always interrupts legacy. At that point in time, I was like, bro, I can't keep letting myself interrupt my own legacy. So, real estate is just what I'm focused on. That's just what I want to do.
Yo, it's funny that you mentioned Outwitting the Devil. They banned that book from the federal system.
For real?
That book and White Pale, you heard that? White Pale Horse or something?
Never.
What's that book called? White Pale Horse? Or it's in prison. Well, they banned it. Yeah, they banned that from the prisons.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't even get a chance to read it.
Maybe they don't want you to tap in with that other side of your mind.
Maybe. That's crazy though, but I told myself I was gonna read it when I got out. I never got a chance to. Break down the wholesaling game. What is wholesaling?
So wholesaling essentially is where you're looking for, I'm not gonna say distressed properties, but you're looking for somebody that may have a property that's not updated that needs to go ahead and sell at a convenience. A lot of times people say you want to look for abandoned houses, but in all reality, an abandoned house could just be a vacation home. So you're looking for somebody that may be in a little bit of a bind, right? That may not want to list the property for sale on the market. And you're basically just negotiating at a deal, right? Let's just say 50, 60 cents on a dollar. And then you're finding somebody else to go ahead and pay you more money for that contract. It's that simple.
How do you find these people?
So, man, several ways, right? So number one is you can either pull a list. I like to, right now, the market, from the pandemic, there's a lot of forbearance that's coming into the market, which is essentially where a lot of banks went ahead and said, you know what, you can go ahead and live in a property, and because of the pandemic, you go ahead and pay us later, right? Kind of like IOU. So some of these institutions are coming back now and saying, yo, listen, we might need that bread. So we're using a website called citricado.com, and essentially what they target is low income and obviously pre-foreclosure, right, and low credit. So we're going after these properties. Not only are we wholesaling them, we're doing what's called subject to, which is essentially where you take over the property's the mortgage. Well, basically what you do is you pay the mortgage, right, and you have them deed over the house to you, right? So let me break this shit down. So basically what happens is, right, when you buy a property using traditional financing, essentially you go ahead and get what's called a deed, right, a title, ownership, and then you get what's called mortgage or a promissory note. So the promissory note is just a promise to pay. That's the debt. The deed is basically saying I'm the owner. So what we go ahead and have them do is go ahead and deed us over the property, give us ownership of the property, and we make the payments on behalf of them to Wells Fargo. Because while they're going into pre-foreclosure, for example, they might be fighting with their husband, right? The house needs a little bit of work. It's going to be negative for them. So instead of them going and losing that property and getting a foreclosure on their record, we'll go ahead and take it over, paying the arrears, what they owe, and then we go ahead and cash flow that property. So we make the spread in between without having to use the bank.
Are you offering them money and paying the mortgage?
So yeah, so sometimes, we do cash for keys, right? Depending on what the situation is. So, we might say, hey, we'll give you $3,000, to vacate the property. And we'll $3,000, $5,000. Yep. And the situations, we had a situation where there was actually a nurse. She found out that her husband was, stepping out on her. She was also sick for about a year, and they kind of, had some hardship. They fell behind. And, when we reached out to them, it was really just about buying their property. We figured out that we couldn't buy their property because of the fact it didn't have enough equity and because of the repairs that it needed. But the good thing about it, that it was in a great area so we could cash flow. So their PITI, they're basically what they were paying every single month, was a good monthly payment for us to go ahead and rent it out for more, right? So we actually essentially, I think when it was all said and done, it was like $10K. We basically did some lipstick, a couple thousand to fix up the property, and then we just rented it out.
So you approached them and said, all right, listen, you behind on payments. we're going to pay that for you.
Exactly.
Move out.
Yes.
How much you gave her? I know the episode is getting really good. Before we dive any deeper, I need to get into the sponsor for today's episode. Being an entrepreneur, creating and maintaining a business is tough. We all know this. There's 1,000 other people that's grinding just like you. What I'm getting at is you don't have to do this alone. Did you know that there's a morning call every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern? It's called the Morning Meetup, made for you. It's created by David Shands, the top entrepreneur who built multi-million-dollar businesses. Yes, you heard this correctly. This is a group made by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs. Do you feel stuck? That means you need to get into the room with high-level entrepreneurs. Get in the room. Basically, if you're tired of holding your own weight in its entrepreneurship, you need to join. www.themorningmeetup.com. Join, connect, grow. I'll see you guys there. Let's back to the episode.
I think it was around like 5K, somewhere around like 5K, and then it was just then you just have to get the real estate attorney to write up a deed, to basically just go ahead and do a quitclaim deed,
and then
a couple other paperwork. Yeah.
Let's just say, for instance, their mortgage was like $700, $800.
Exactly.
You just double that.
So yeah, let's just say on Zillow, right, or rentalmeter.com, it says that let's just say you can rent out the property for $1,700. We go ahead and bring it up to that type of value to make sure that it is worth that as far as the rent, and then we just go ahead and lease it out. So as long as we're paying Wells Fargo or whoever they owe, most of the time they're not gonna say nothing.
And wait, now the loan that they owe, does it go into your name? Or?
Nah, so we keep it in their name. We just pay on their behalf. So for example, like let's just say if I have a daughter, right? And the phone, AT&T is under my name.
Yeah.
But it's her phone, but I'm making those payments on her behalf. But it's her phone. So AT&T is not gonna call me and say, hey, are you paying this for her? Nah, the only thing they care about is if you're making the payments.
All right, like let's say if I wanted to renege and be like, yo, I don't want to do this no more. 6
Exactly.
months in, a year in.
Yeah. So we have what's called a limited power attorney, right? So number one, they deeded over the property to us, so that means that we obviously own the property on paper. But we have a limited power attorney that basically states that we can go ahead and talk on your behalf as far as with the mortgage. Does that make sense? So if they were to renege, there is what's called a due on sale clause. So essentially the way you could go ahead and get messed up with this is that the mortgage company finds out that they quote unquote deeded over the property to you, and at that time you would have to assume the mortgage. But sometimes, there's a couple options. They may want you to go ahead and deed it back, or if you don't assume it, you may have to purchase it, which is what's called a due on sale clause. You may have to just buy it for whatever you owe, right? But there's actually a bunch of times that once you understand it, and if you do this correctly, being transparent, you're letting them know, hey, listen, I'm going to be taking care of you for the next 6-7 years, or however long this mortgage is. But some people may say, well, listen, why would somebody do that? Well, you got to understand that property, we had to give her money to move out, and then we also had to go ahead and bring it back up to standard. So my equity, my skin in the game, I don't want to lose that money. So of course I want to make those payments on my behalf.
Right. Now, that's crazy. Okay, so how long does it take for you to get your money back? Because like, if you're only making double, okay, I bet. If you only $3,000, right? You gave her $3,000. You put maybe another, let's say 10 grand, 10,000. You in 13 in the hole. Now, it's gonna take you maybe about a year to make the money back.
100%. But that's exactly what a rental is, right? A cash flow and producing asset.
Right.
So let's just say it takes you 1 year, but after that, let's just say if you owe, let's just say there's 15 more years on a mortgage. The rest of that is straight cash flow, obviously behind your taxes, right? Behind all the stuff that you have to go ahead and do. So once again, this is just another rental, but the good thing about it is that you took over the mortgage. So you didn't have to qualify for that. You didn't have to essentially put any credit up. You didn't have to put a huge down payment. And now your debt to income ratio doesn't say that you owe Wells Fargo $100,000.
Yeah, okay, got you. How'd you learn this game, bro?
Man, honestly, through wholesaling. So the best way to learn about real estate investing, bro, is wholesaling, and here's why. Number one is low barrier to entry, right? Just because of the fact that you don't need a license, you don't need to have any prior experience, and as you start to wholesale, as you start to learn the game, you really start to understand how to value properties. You start to learn how to make offers on properties, and you start to obviously do what? Sell the properties to investors. Yeah. So as you start to leverage the play, right? Like what I would do is I would be like, man, I'm gonna cut you a deal. I want $200,000 for this property. I know you're saying you'll do 197. I'll go ahead and give it to you at 197, but can I go ahead and shadow you as you flip this property? So at that point in time, what I'm doing is I'm selling him the actual property, right? No money down, obviously flipping just a contract. And then I'm going and watching him throughout the process of flipping the actual property.
Yeah.
So now I'm asking questions like, yo, the contractors or even him, yo, how much does it typically cost to put on a roof? You know, why do all your properties have a red door?
Yeah.
You know, why you guys always use this type of, flooring? And then that's where you start to truly learn how they do what they do. So now you're making capital, and you now, when opportunities do come, you can say, you know what, I'm gonna keep this one, and I'm gonna just leave this one. So you start to build wealth as you're building capital.
So like basically anyone can get in this game, like with no type of, not a lot of capital.
Yeah.
Not a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Right? You just hop in the game, find somebody that really need the money, and
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is what I tell people, right? Can anybody get in this game? No, only if you know how to follow directions. If you're a human being that knows how to follow directions and you have a why, what hurts you, you have a motivator.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's not easy. The concept is simple, but it's not easy. And I'm going to tell you because of the fact that you do have to go through a lot of rejection.
Yeah.
You got to cold call people. You might have to text blast people, right? But the good thing about it is that when you break it down, my biggest deal was $70,000. Just one flip, $70,000. So let's just say I had to make 150 calls, 200 calls. You do the math. How much did I get paid per call to get that deal?
Right. That's if you made 150 calls, do you divide 70?
$70,000.
I would say.
Pull out the calculator, bro.
Shit.
Pull out the calculator,
hurt
bro.
my brain trying to do this shit. 70. Oh shit. 70 divided by 150. Basically $466 a call.
Think about that. So if you're working at the average telemarketing company,
Yeah.
you're not getting paid $466 per call. You're not also getting paid to learn how to really invest into real estate. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously go ahead and pick the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the reason why I love this niche, bro.
Now you mentioned, they got to be a great listener and they got to have a why, motivator. What was your why? What was your motivator?
Man, honestly, so I'm just a regular kid, bro, from Queens, New York. I was raised. I just turned 30.
Oh, what's up, young?
Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a regular kid from Queens, New York, and I was raised by a single mother. Worked paycheck to paycheck, work her ass off. She had me at 22 years old, and my grandma was there. I'm a grandma's boy. So shout out to all the grandma's boys, right? But yeah, that was just me. My grandma worked in the wholesale industry. So that was my why, bro. I didn't have my father in my life. I met him, when I was 13 years old, and then I found out that my dad did real estate and that he actually was rich.
Damn.
My mom was actually, basically the girl that he would go out to Queens to see. He's from the Bronx, and I'm just the middle child. So after he had me, he stepped out on his wife. After he had me, I'm over there living, not in the best situations. I shared a bedroom with my grandma to the age of 16. So when I met my dad, I'm like, wow, this is all new to me. You know what I'm saying? So that was my why. My why was, number one, which I don't recommend to do, but my why was to go ahead and prove to people around me, like my family, and most importantly, my father, that we didn't need him.
When you met him at 13, though, was it like, y'all rekindled, and like now y'all are father and son and like building a relationship now?
Yeah, great question. Nah, I mean, honestly, yeah, when we first met, it was like, wow, I was just so, fathomed by like, I've never seen somebody have so much success, and it's this new relationship, you my father, I never had that. But then years after, it's just crazy, bro, because one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that money cannot fix relationships. Success doesn't fix relationships, So whatever, he had going on, it hasn't changed much because of what, his core values and how he moves throughout his life. So yeah, we actually don't have a great relationship. You know what I'm saying? So what I would recommend, and that's why I said I wouldn't do that, is because of the fact that a lot of the times you want to go hard because of the fact that you trying to prove to somebody, that you are worthy, right? And at the end of the day, what you need to do is prove to yourself that you're worthy. Me versus me. Because at that point in time, I remember, grinding, success came. And then I was just more so like, damn, yo, I feel like nothing has really changed. And then what happens is you lose that motivator. That why goes away. Now you got to find another why. You see what I'm saying? You ever been in that position?
Yeah. It's crazy that you say that, though. Like, you know, they had this other guy come on here, and he was like, you know, I wanted to get rich because, you know, like I wanted my dad to see that I was successful. And you're gonna get to a point where, okay, once you meet that fulfillment, it's like now you have no reason no more. It's nothing.
Exactly.
Like you don't want it. Like you don't. What's gonna motivate you to even go further in life? Like you already accomplished this. It's like now you need another
push.
Drug or some shit like that.
Yeah, you need another high, another endorphin. 100%.
So at the age of 13, like how long did y'all like, you know, hang out?
So he literally just one day showed up. You know, I currently live in Orlando, so he just one day showed up, and my mom was like, "Yo, this is your dad," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool," you know. And then I started spending summers with him in New York, and then at that point in time, I think was probably to around the age of like 15, 16. You know, I'm in high school now, whatever, so I wasn't going to really see him like that anymore. And then when I did go, you know, it just wasn't a connection. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? I can't really relate. So yeah.
Yeah, I started playing basketball because I wanted to stay out of jail when I was like 16, and I got to a point where like I only wanted to be like a great basketball player because my dad and my mom like hated me going to jail. So I was like, all right, let me become a great basketball. And I really became good, and then I just stopped.
Yeah,
like, it wasn't a thrill anymore. Like I don't have dreams of becoming an NBA player. I just quit. You know what I'm saying? And didn't have any type of motivation. Like that's kind of the same scenario though. Like a lot of people try to prove themselves for other people or for social media.
Yeah.
Or for like, you know, like their boyfriend, girlfriend or some shit like that. Like a lot of people do that. And once you fulfill that, you'll fall off real quick.
For sure. For sure. You got to have that constant energy flowing through you. And the only way for you to really get that back up is to have people in your circle that has that same type of mindset. You got to be on that same type of frequency. If not, you know, yeah, for sure, you'll get stagnant. You know, you'll procrastinate.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, man. A lot of the times, you know, you may have that $1,000 you get from your income tax, that $1,000 that you may get from, you know, your Pell Grant going to school. And now you're like, yo, I got some cushion. So when you're a successful entrepreneur and you know, you see what you got in your bank account, and your why kind of goes away, you like, man, I got a couple days. I got it. And then those days turn into weeks. Those weeks turn into months. And then you're looking at it, you're like, damn, hold on, I got to get back on my pivot.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I got to get back on my thing.
Like I never want to try to get like comfortable with money, right? It was at a point where like when I first got out of prison, and I was trying not to go back to like the legal shit, and it was hard at one point, and I'll be at a point where like I'll be at like my last, and then I'd be like, yo, I don't want to do it. And out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, some bread coming. I'm like, all right, bet this could fulfill me until then, but it still never was enough money. Like I had to force myself to be like, yo, I can't do it, bro. Well, that's how I really came to start doing this shit, because this kind of gave me that push. Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I got this vision of like what I possibly could do. Then I got these mentors that's showing me bread. Like anybody that I interviewed on here, like showed me like their success, showed me numbers and stuff. Like, yo, I don't need to like do nothing illegal anymore. Ever.
You sponsored by God, bro.
You feel me?
That's one of my taglines. Sponsored by God.
Sponsored by God. And I felt like it was just the universe. It was this guy like, all right, listen, here's something to motivate you to not go back.
Yeah.
5,000, 10,000.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, bet, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you got a child?
No kids. No kids.
How do you feel though when you do have a child? Like how you think that relationship gonna be?
It's gonna be great, bro. It's gonna be great because of the fact that I'm gonna do everything that my father didn't do for me.
Yeah.
You know, and then another thing, you know, my mom being a single parent, she had to play both roles. So a lot of the times, you know, she trying to be tough on me, you know, she whooping my ass, you know, so it was one of those things that I want to make sure that I play my role and my lady plays her role, but I'm going to be there 100%. For me, it's about leaving a legacy And of course, I want to leave them, a bunch of real estate. I want to leave them a bunch of money, whatever the case may be. But I mostly want to go ahead and teach them family values, financial literacy, right? How to treat people, how to treat women, how to treat men, right? Things like that, because of the fact that once you learn how to fish, you don't need nobody else to give you. So and that's another thing, right, is learning the real estate game, especially wholesaling. We actually buy properties or get them under contract from people all the time that end up losing their life, and then their son inherits the property. And because they don't appreciate the fact that mom or dad worked that whole time, they just give it up.
That's very true. Okay, how do you feel about, having children and leaving them all this, and like they didn't have to, they basically had a silver spoon. They didn't have to work for nothing.
Yeah, so that's gonna be one thing. I'm gonna try my hardest to make sure that they still got that grunt in them, right? So like this is one thing me and my lady was going back and forth with. She was like, yo, I wanna have the kids in private school, and I said, nah, they gotta be in public school. Yeah. Like, because I feel like you get that grit, because the world is public school, right? Like, bullies, unfortunately, right? Going through different types of cliques, right? Not being a yes man all the time and having a smile on your face. And I think a lot of the times, private school, in my opinion, can do that for you. It's a bubble that could be fake. Yeah. So my opinion, that's things that we talk about, saying, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do for our children, making sure that, we're aligned in what we want to do for them. But yeah, I think it's giving them, leaving them something behind, but I don't think it's going to be money. I think it's more so maybe companies, assets, things of that nature, so they can grow in appreciation. Because if you don't work for the money, it's going to be very hard for you to appreciate it.
Very hard. That's just like a scammer that just came up on $1 million.
100%.
Don't know what to do with it. Don't know how to interact with money. Don't know how money flows. Don't know how to make more money. And you just spend.
I call that the prenut. See, a lot of men and women, we have prenut, and the prenut is, you make whatever your job gives you, and you just got that prenut. You just want to spend it. You immediately got some money. You need that instant gratification of, that buy one get one at the mall. You need that instant gratification of the new Gucci, that in all reality you didn't need. So the issue is like we all make money. You make money. You made money today. I made money today. We just spend more than what we make. So it's not that we have a problem making money in America. We have a problem managing our money. And the issue is that we're always a consumer. There's always going to be more consumers than there is sellers.
Who came up with this prenut? You did?
Right now.
Oh. That's going to do numbers. A prenut.
Yeah, but it's the truth, though. You get what I'm saying? Like, I've been there. You get that quick bag that maybe you didn't do a lot of work for, or maybe you did do a lot of work for it. And all of a sudden, it's like, boom, I'm buying.
Yep.
And then that's what happens. Then you on paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. So listen, if you paying rent, if you had an apartment, you had a condo, and you paying rent, and you're paycheck to paycheck, you're one paycheck from being homeless. The same person that's on the streets.
Facts. Factuals. I was in that position before, though.
And we've all been there. I come from that. I understand it. And this is just what I wasn't taught. I just wasn't taught that. But like I said, what I've become a master at is looking around at other people and saying, I'm going to take the good, but I'm also going to take the bad and not do that.
That's a fact. I had to learn, bro. I had to lose it all and be like, you know what? Next time I get this bag, I know exactly what to do with it. And I preach this to a lot of people, like a lot of like my homies, family. Like, listen, this money is a tool. If you don't use it the correct way, if you go out there and spend it on just frivolous shit, you're going to be right back to zero. And it's hard to just get a bag again.
Bro, people will help you spend money, but they won't help you make money.
Say that again, bro.
People will help you spend money, but they won't help you make money. As soon as you're on top, they come in. But a lot of the times you got to understand that the vision that you have, that's the vision that God gave you. So when you got that new podcast you're trying to start, when you got that new, how's your little business doing, right? Yeah. They can't see that. That's like giving them your bifocals and saying, yo, look at that. You see that planet? And they don't see it. So you talking to somebody that's dealing with their own past trauma. That's why success rings bells, and success, ain't nobody wanted to go ahead and take me out to coffee when I was broke. I was working 2 jobs and going to community college. Nobody wanted a piece of my mind then.
Ain't nobody want to link up with me when I first started this podcast. Telling you, man, it's getting crazy right now. It's getting crazy, but I understand the game. You know, that's just what it is. People, they attracted to success, right? You know, like they want to be around. Like now that you look like this, now you got information. Now I want to be around you so I can get this energy too.
Exactly.
So how is it for you now? Like now that you're
Man,
this.
humbly, I'm blessed, bro. Blessed. Like I said, one of my taglines is sponsored by God. I started to understand that luck isn't a factor. As long as you understand that your timing never works, but God's timing always works.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, and I already know what I'm going to say is going to resonate with you, right? If I would have had success at the time that I wanted it, I would have blew it all. And I'm pretty sure, because why? The mindset I had. I had a poor mindset, passing over opportunities repeatedly, right? And I was living the scam, the scam life. The true scam is going to the club, paying $250 for the Hennessy bottle, knowing at the corner it's $45.
Keep going.
Understanding, right, that you over there trying to impress people at the club that wouldn't even come to your funeral. See, I'm going to keep it a bean, right? When I was younger, I literally used to go to the club, buy a bottle with all my friends, and don't even drink, just to go ahead and show the authority that I was the one doing it. And now the crazy thing was that I was living at home.
Yeah.
So I could spend that money, and I would be broke the next week. But I'm at the club, I'm looking like you, bro. And the craziest thing is when you have that mindset, you go into the club, and see, a lot of the times people go, man, we got to keep it a bean on here. A lot of times when you go to clubs, especially when I was younger, who we looking at first? Who we looking at? What these fellas got on, man? Like, I'm shitting on him.
Yep.
I'm shitting on him. And then you might look at the females.
It's competition.
It's competition. But once you start to understand that the average person lives to 77, and after the age of 36, 37, you have more past than future, you're not going to care about that.
I think people still care about it.
Yeah, and some people do. And until you realize that.
What you said was, you said God, you said something about success.
That your timing is never the right timing, but God's timing is always the right time.
So my story, right, when I was making bank, right, I had this grand idea in my head that I was gonna make about $250,000 a month, like scamming. That was the goal. And when the feds came, I was like, yo, why did this happen to me? I was almost at that mark. You know, I was making like almost $100,000 a month. And when the feds came and I went to prison, I was just sitting back like, yo, why did this happen to me? Like, everything was going so good. I'm making all this money. I'm taking care of all these people. And that happened, and I lost it all. But like, in the position I'm in now, I would rather be here making whatever I'm making now.
Making less.
Or
more, whatever. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Making way, like, because I understand the potential. I'm probably close to like $100 million contract, right? The way I'm going. Like, and then I don't got to look behind my back no more. Like,
exactly.
That life is some bullshit, right?
Exactly.
God was telling me like, yo, that's not your route to success, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You learn from that. I learned a lot from that. I learned about business. I learned about people. I learned how to manage people. I learned how to start businesses, credit, whatever. I learned a lot doing that stuff, but that wasn't my route to success. This right here, God is telling me like, this is it. This is your path. This is what I got for you.
Man, listen, this is what I tell people all the time. Stop using God as an emergency call. A lot of the times when we down and out, right? Yeah. That's when you want to go ahead and call him. Hey God, man, listen, if you get me out of this one,
if you get me out of
God,
this
listen,
one.
as long as this HIV test say negative, please, God. Or hey, listen, man, as long as they don't got me on that footage, please, God, I won't ever do it again.
Guess what we do? Go right back.
What Lil Baby said? Come on, man. So the thing is, you got to stop doing that. But I want to say something to everybody out here listening, right? If you're scamming, right, you might be doing your thing in the streets, right? Moving whatever you're moving, right? It's a life of scam. Still confused about money. You're confused about how money works. And in all reality, you have way more hustle, right, than a lot of entrepreneurs, because we're risking our life. We're actually risking our money while you're risking your life. There's a lot of people that understand, listen, my cousin just got shot on that corner. And they're willing to go to that corner, back to that corner knowing somebody just got shot, then go ahead and start an LLC.
Facts.
Because they're more scared of winning in life than knowing what they know already. I don't know if you would agree with me.
No, I definitely agree with you. But I think it's what people are used to.
Exactly, and you can't blame somebody for that.
You can't. If you don't have an example in life,
It's hard.
If nobody showed you, yeah, you might say, yeah, go start an LLC. But in their mind, it's like, man, how? It's difficult. But I seen homie did this, that, and the third. This how he came up. I know this route. Let me go ahead and do that.
It's a fact.
Some people just don't have the example, bro. You gotta get around people, man.
Yeah. And that's what we're here to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're an example. I'm an example. That you can go ahead and turn it around. You could always restart your life.
Always. I'm talking about you can wake up literally tomorrow and make a decision like,
Facts.
yo, I'm doing this. This is what I'm gonna do. And that's exactly what I did. Like, well, I did that on the bunk bed. Like,
Yeah.
you know what? When I get out this motherfucker,
Yeah, you on go mode.
I'm on go.
Yeah.
I'm on go. I've been doing this for a year, bro. And this shit doing well for me, bro.
And nowadays, man, you can get rich in 3, 4, 5 months.
It's crazy.
It sound like scam numbers, but you can really get lit.
How did you get rich?
Man, listen, I'm going to tell you how. So, number one, delayed gratification. Delayed gratification. I'm going to give you the recipe to actually accumulating some money, yo. Number one, sacrifice.
That's key.
Relationships, your girl, your boyfriend, your mom, your sister, whoever the case may be, they just not going to understand, yo. They not going to understand. They can't see those bifocals. They just don't see what you see. And once again, yo, I heard of so-and-so that did that. And they failed. So, number one, sacrifice. You got to sacrifice your weekends. You got to sacrifice the drinking. You got to sacrifice the clubs. You got to sacrifice sex. Whatever your addiction is, you got to go ahead and be addicted to winning. Number two, consistency. I understand that if I do not quit, I can't lose. That's just it. I don't even care if you're better than me at what you do. I just know if I go one more time, I'll still beat you because I went one more time. See what I'm saying? And then last but not least is delayed gratification. You might see me on here right now with some shiny things, but you got to understand, I had more than $250,000 in my bank account and I was riding around in a faded Infinity. I just now started doing this. Why? Because even as I started to learn, how to use my money, I still wasn't doing it right. I still wasn't doing right tax write-offs correctly. I wasn't leveraging credit correctly.
Yeah.
I've been teaching myself as I go. See, a lot of times you might be making some money, but then you get that tax bill, right? Or you don't even know how, you got to write your whole joint off because of the fact that you don't even know, you was like, damn, I don't even know how to do this. So I've been learning as I started going. So essentially it was literally closing deal after deal, grinding it out since 2017. After I failed being a realtor, started grinding out. And then when I started doing this, I started to understand business. So what is business? Business is just literally solving a problem for somebody else.
Yeah.
So what I started to do is, as I started to go through my businesses, right, my first thing was I'm working multiple jobs. I can't be picking up the phone trying to get to these homeowners. So I started leveraging technology. So as I started leveraging technology, what I started doing, how do I stay consistent? I got to document the process. Because I can only be as good as myself yesterday. Yeah. Right? So I'm going Facebook Live. The only person on there is my mom and my girl. Right? But at least I know yesterday I worked, so it gives me another opportunity to go ahead and do it today. So I started leveraging technology. And then as I started to get a little bit more traction on Facebook and Instagram, people started seeing my wins. They said, yo, how do I get started? I said, bro, technology. If you got a job, you got to use what's called a CRM. Okay? Then they said, what CRM do you use? I said, damn, I don't even know. So I gave them a CRM. At that point in time, I started charging them for the CRM. Created a business out of a problem that I had, knowing that they're probably going to have that problem. And then after that, I just started creating more businesses off of my problems. And obviously, people started winning and making money off the same problems that I had because they had those problems.
Why did you drive around in that car you had $250,000?
Delayed gratification. You gotta understand that sometimes we have so much fear. And let's break down fear, right? Think about what fear is, bro. Fear is literally something in the future that hasn't even happened. A lot of the times we confuse fear with life and death situations. Fear is knowing that the Fed's gonna come for you and you sweating.
Yeah.
That's real fear because your life is on the line.
That's fear. Yeah.
But imagine you take $10,000 and invest it into a business. I mean, you scared to do that because of the fact that you think you're going to fail and be broke. Well, I'll tell you this much. Keep it in your bank account. That 10 grand is still going to be gone. Let me know if I'm lying.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was literally it. It's just understanding that I was still fearful, bro, of being successful. Sometimes you scared of how big you can get.
Yeah.
Because of the pressure. Sometimes we look at it and it's like, damn, bro, LeBron been winning for damn near almost 3 decades or 2 decades.
Yeah.
You know, you got to imagine how much pressure he has. If he does less than 15 points, he's trash.
Facts.
Even though the rest of the league is doing 15 points.
Right.
So now understanding that as an entrepreneur, there's so much pressure. I tell people all the time, bro, listen, they're going to hate me for this. You want me to say it? I tell people all the time that there is nothing harder than being a male minority entrepreneur. As a male, we have to provide for our family and wake up every day like there ain't nothing wrong. As a minority, obviously, we got to work our way onto the table. And as an entrepreneur, we are getting beat up every single day. Right now, I could be looking at you looking like this, but I could have took an L of $30,000. And I got to act like it's all good and get it back tomorrow. I got to bring myself up. And listen, my peers, my family, they might not even know what's going on.
You don't even want to talk about it. We don't even bring them situations up. Because what's the whole point of bringing it up? You know what I mean? Why?
My conversation about how I just lost a deal for $30K or how XYZ just happened and I just, something went left versus you complaining about, shorty at your job in your ear, it's just different. I'm sorry, respectfully.
It's different. You ever got one of these friends, man, that just call you about nothing? Like, call you about nothing, bro. Like, just to talk about some bullshit. And sometimes it hurts me when I pick up, like, I don't want to pick up the phone, but I ain't picked up the phone in 2-3 days, so I got to. Like, yo, what's good?
Yeah.
And I'm just on a different type of time. Like, go ahead.
The best thing they ever made was that D&D.
Man.
Best thing they ever made was that D&D.
Damn, bro. I be feeling bad, bro.
Let me ask you a question, right? How do you deal with friends, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know. But a lot of my friends been saying that I've changed. They haven't told me. But I started to kind of explain myself, and I thought, man, that was kind of stupid, explaining myself to myself.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, I'm sorry, we just don't align anymore with the same recreational activities.
That's right.
Like, you don't play basketball as much anymore, right? I assume?
I still play basketball.
Okay. But if you stopped, would you still be talking to everybody that plays basketball?
No.
Probably not.
No.
So a lot of the times it's like, it's not that I changed, it's just, I just don't play spades anymore.
Right.
I don't talk about, going to the club and being with women anymore.
We can't connect how we used to connect.
Exactly.
Right? Like, yeah, we're still friends, but what you're talking about doesn't excite me anymore. And what I might bring up, you just kind of don't know. You bring up real estate to one of your homies, it's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like, I'm trying to put you on.
Yeah,
I'm telling you about my problems, but like what I'm on right now, like my homies, they might call me about girls or like, like the drugs they be doing. It just be like gossip in the hood.
Yeah.
Yo, I ain't been in the hood in 10 years, bro. I don't care what they doing. And I just be sitting on the phone like, bro, I'm gonna spend this few minutes with you because if you died tomorrow, I will feel bad. Like you're the homie. But when it comes to change, like we're not meant to stay the same. It would be a disservice to myself if I stayed the same.
Yeah.
I'm here on this planet to grow, right? To evolve, to make more money, to be successful, to leave a legacy. And sometimes you're gonna have to leave some people behind.
I don't want to keep that same energy.
You don't.
You remember that whole thing? Yeah, keep that same energy. I don't.
Right.
I don't want to keep it. I want to evolve.
And my main thing is to like, bro, I can make new friends. Not to say that I don't care about my friends, but listen, it's billions of people on this planet.
Yeah.
I can't be trying to satisfy everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna drive myself crazy trying to satisfy my family, the friends, girls.
Everything.
Yo, listen, girls that be on my line, like, listen, I can meet another one of you. But this right here, this opportunity, what I got going on, I might not get another chance to like do a podcast or like be famous. I gotta put my all into this right here. And if you understand that, then
it's all good. It's all good. That's one thing as well. A lot of the times what I noticed, man, I was a yes man.
Yes.
Being a yes man or being a yes woman will leave you broke. And a lot of y'all don't know it, but the city that you in, that day-to-day that you've been used to, is keeping you broke. Because we hear about this all the time, right? If you around 3 millionaires and you're the fourth, you're bound to be the fourth one.
Right.
If you're the smartest person in that room, you need to leave that room. And I started to understand, like literally, God forbid if something happens to me, all I ask God is to give me my relationships. Let me just get my phone number, my phone, right? Let me get my knowledge, right? And I'm good.
Right.
Because networking and that's one product that you can never go broke is intellectual property. And we spend so much time investing in how we look, eating trash food, consuming bad, horrible shit, but we never take the time to go ahead and invest into our actual brain.
No, that's what I live by, bro. Like, evolving, right? Like, I try to preach like health, but that's not like a cool thing. Like,
hell no.
It ain't a cool thing, but I know I gotta look this way. I know I gotta talk some bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Entertain
Bro.
people. And then I gotta put the real shit in front of them, like, yo, listen, this is how I'm really living. Like, yo, listen, like, I don't eat meat. You know what I'm saying? I don't eat fast food. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
But they not gonna take it. If I'm just preaching this shit all day, they ain't trying to hear that shit. Today's episode is brought to you by Rich and Unemployed Clothing. Listen, have you guys checked out the website? Have you guys copped some merch? You can do so while watching this episode right now. So if you haven't done so, go ahead. It's right there at the bottom. Go ahead, click, go to the website, go ahead and copy some merch. Man, we got these new hoodies in. We got headscarves in. We got hats. We got caps. We got the black and gold Rich and Unemployed cap. So make sure you guys tap in, grab some merch while watching this episode. Because listen, we're giving it to you good. Wait, pause. All right, back to the episode.
Man, listen. This bust down chain, this ain't for me. This for you.
That's a fact.
I understand that if I don't have this on, you're going to keep scrolling. This designer clothes, it ain't for me. It's for you. Because I understand what marketing is. Because if I'm sitting there talking like the guy from the Holiday Inn talking about real estate, you're just going to keep going.
That's a fact.
And it's unfortunate that it's like that, but it is what it is, right? The marketer always beats the educator, right? When the educator is in marketing.
I had read this one article. I think it was, I can't remember the guy's name, but basically the story was it was two authors. It was the guy that wrote I think Rich Dad Poor Dad, and
great book.
Basically, the lady, she was having trouble selling her books, and she was kind of mad at the guy. And he's like, listen, I'm not in here to be the best author. I'm here to be the best seller. You can write all these books and try to be the best author, but I'm the marketer. I know that I need to get in front of these people. I need to have that best title. The title matters, right? My image matters, right?
Yeah.
I don't gotta be the best educator. You don't gotta know really shit about. You just gotta know the simple things.
Fact.
And just look like you know what you're talking about. They gonna tap in with you, bro. They tap in with them.
Yeah. Listen, if you want to get tapped in, bro, get your teeth done.
What?
Best investment ever.
Man.
People ask me all the time, Brandon, what is your favorite investment? Once you get these veneers, I promise you, there is nothing that you cannot do. You can literally have no hairline, right? The beard can be undone, right? Your drip can be whatever, but once you open up that smile, they see them porcelain, you feel like $1,000, bro. When I went and got my teeth done, I felt like literally nobody could tell me nothing. I still feel that way.
Yo.
I love smiling and being happy. Am I lying?
Yo, I get on this camera and I be looking at my teeth. I be like, damn, I'm glad I spent this bread. Best investment I could have ever done, bro.
Best ever.
And it's like, I don't know, like I'd never go back.
Yeah,
I'd
never go back,
bro. Like this, I was made to have these teeth, bro. Real talk, bro.
Born for these teeth.
For real.
This is my meta teeth.
Your meta teeth. That shit look good too. You could have done that.
I actually got them done in Orlando.
Damn, them bitches look fire.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. But I actually wanted to ask you, right? Obviously, I'm not single, man. You single?
Yeah, I'm single.
You hesitated.
I'm very single.
Okay.
Very single.
How y'all do it, man? Listen, if I just happen to be single in these times, bro,
yeah,
I don't know if I would make it, bro. I don't know if I'd be able to take any woman seriously just because of the status quo that I'm seeing online.
Yeah.
And then not only that, it's like, now that I have success, I don't know what you really like me for.
Well, I take it with a grain of salt, man. Like, I understand, like, okay, I'm this guy online, and people are attracted to that, right? And I try not to take anything serious. So I'm a different type of dater. Like, I'm really just straight on focus, but I understand I got to fill that void sometimes, right? I got a need that I got to fill. So when I date, it's really just for that purpose. I'm not trying to do anything serious. I'm not trying to like really get to know a person for real. It's really just to get me
That instant satisfaction.
basically to keep me going.
Keep it a bean.
It's just to keep me going, really.
Yeah.
Because I can't just be, to myself and
Yeah, you a Red Bull, baby. You're just a Red Bull. Now, because I don't, because I don't get it, man. Listen, the greatest women are the women that you don't have to impress.
Right. That's a fact. And I would rather meet someone that I meet like somewhere regular, grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Plain Jane, that don't know nothing about me, that I know that you like me for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to see my car, my crib, you know what I'm saying, the jewelry, because I want you to like me plain.
Yeah.
And then once I start getting to know you, right, and I open you up to this type of shit, I'm like, oh damn, all right, that's just a bonus.
Yeah.
You like me for me, but now this shit is just a bonus. But no, it's definitely hard to date out here because guys don't care about that.
And listen, fellas, I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. If you out here chasing women, you chasing the wrong checkbox, bro.
The wrong checkbox.
The wrong one. Once you get success, guys, there's nothing that everything is gonna come, and a lot of it is gonna be. You see, when you get quick success, right? That's the devil trying to go ahead and corrupt your mind, right? Quick success, it builds ego.
Yeah.
Slow success builds character. So you got to understand something like that. Everything that you want is on the other side of you being successful, being consistent. But I was looking at an article the other day. This another young lady, man, lost her life due to a botched BBL. And for me, it's like, listen, I understand that men out here like that type of look, but don't fall for that. If a man can't like you for who you are, then listen, hold your ground. It just is what it is. Right? It just is what it is. But on the flip side, you got to also understand, right, that women have the luxury to fuck anybody that they want, but men have the luxury to marry anybody that they want. So, baby, you could keep doing what you're doing out in these streets, but the only sucker that's gonna give you that ring is gonna be that dude that he just ain't it. So you got to understand, like, listen, do your thing, right? Keep that Red Bull energy booster, but understand that you gotta have that avatar and make sure, because I've seen it all the time, man. I run into people that have, baby mama drama, and they say one of the worst things that they ever did was, they just didn't vet this person long enough. They love their child, but their life is crazy because of this person, or baby daddy drama.
How long you been in a relationship?
13 years.
13 years?
13 years.
Since you was 17?
16. Yep.
Damn.
It's gonna be 14 years soon. Yep.
I don't know where to start.
Man, listen, I'll tell you this much. The key to staying together with somebody is you gotta always keep on dating.
Dating that person.
Keep dating. Whatever you was doing when you first got started, however y'all fell in love, you gotta keep doing that. You gotta keep doing that. Women want what women want. They want you to make sure that you are a listening ear. A lot of times, we be on our phone, we just be watching TV. Women want you to kind of pay attention sometimes, yo. They want you to kind of like, okay, I'm paying attention to the stuff that you got going on.
Yeah.
Right? Fill up that gas tank. Take them grocery shopping real quick. Yo, here's the Amex. Just do you. Right? That type of things. And then obviously security. Financial security. I can tell you this much, man. When you don't have no money, that breeds a lot of divorce, yo. You could love somebody, but money will go ahead and fuck up your whole thing. So some financial security, physical security. Obviously, you got to make sure that you can fend for your woman, and you got to beat that box up, yo.
For sure.
You got to break her back. I'm not gonna lie. You got to break her back.
It's a fact. You gotta
listen. Some of y'all women be watching more porn than men, so you got to make sure that you're doing your thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned on whatever whatever's going on.
Is it do you get distracted, by being this person online now, and now you look like this? I'm pretty sure, like, women come at you, and like, is it hard?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I was talking to my boy about this the other day. Of course it happens. and there's you have to have discipline, self-discipline.
Yeah.
See, a lot of the times we have selective discipline, bro. Right? Like, I have people in the gym all the time, they got a six-pack, but when I'm trying to put them on some game to make money, they got no discipline. I'm like, bro, it's harder to be on a meal plan and work out every single day than it is to make money.
Yeah.
So you have to have discipline, 100%. So yeah, it can be hard, but when you so focused, bro, a focused individual cannot be fucked with. Cannot be fucked with at all, bro. And one thing that me and my girl just promised each other, like, we just don't have the opposite sex friends, because we just don't put ourselves in the position for something to happen.
Yeah.
If I'm in a location where I know, they might be people, strapped up and there's, problems going on there, that's a location where I could possibly either get shot or be put in a situation where I might go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So of course, does she talk to my friends when I'm with my friends? 100%. But ain't no numbers exchanged. This ain't no relationship because of the temptation.
Right.
Because as men, this is what it is. It's hard for us to control our second head.
Very true.
And then with women, it's really easy for them to control their mouth and their mind. A woman could literally go ahead and take whatever she did to the grave and not say a damn thing about it.
That's a fact. So there's no opposite sex. You don't got no female friends.
No female friends. I mean, like I said, acquaintances, if I see them and I know them, yo, what's good? How you been? How's it going? But no phone numbers, I don't really do that.
Because humans gonna be humans.
100%.
It's not like sometimes you're not even trying.
100%. And it's not that I don't trust her, she don't trust me, but we don't trust the other person.
Right.
Because it's not maybe because of the fact that, they might want to screw me over, but because of the fact that they don't know how to go ahead and discipline themselves. You got them friends that they'll fuck anything with they might fuck this camera stand if it had a skirt on. They might get lit. Damn, my bad, I forgot, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But you see, if you put yourself in that situation, you know what I'm saying? Once that girl texts you back, come on, bro, what type of sign that is? You go on somebody DM, she got a man, and she writes you back.
Oh my God.
You putting yourself in a situation. She putting herself in a situation.
Listen, perfect example, right? I text this girl. She was in my building in Miami. I was like, oh, I got a condo in that same building, and she's like, oh, really? I said, sneak down. She was with her boyfriend, but I was just talking shit. I don't even fuck around with people with boyfriends or whatever. But I was like, yeah, sneak down and pull up on me. She was like, she sent me back a message in vanish mode. She's like, she says, she's like, I would she's like, you trying to get me killed? I'll never do that. I'm loyal. But if you was loyal, you would never roll back.
Exactly.
If you really loyal, you're not gonna write back.
100%.
What you writing back for? If you basically let me know, like, okay, if I keep trying, you'll go.
And that's why you got to work on your status, man. Because nowadays, followers, influence, power, unfortunately, that's the new currency. That's the new currency. Likes, followers, that blue check.
Yep. You get that blue check, man.
Your girl can get swept up real quick nowadays by somebody that ain't even doing it. They could be literally living in a one-bedroom apartment, you know what I'm saying, not even doing it. They might be still stuck. They might be in the basement. They shooting it off their iPhone, but because they're lit on Twitch, they lit on YouTube, whatever the case may be, he ain't you. But because of them followers, because of that influence, she might sneak down.
She might. That's a scary thing too, bro.
Very scary.
Do your girl, she has social media?
That's another thing. So I'm actually blessed. She only has TikTok. Damn. But yeah, and that's the only thing she liked is TikTok. So we actually started this. Remember, I met her when I was 14. She was 14, I was 16. So one thing, I was very popular in high school. Yeah. So when I had MySpace, bro. Yeah. You remember MySpace?
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Okay. On MySpace, I was lit, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I was lit on MySpace, bro. So one of the things was, once again, temptations. And I told her, I said, listen, yo, I'll get rid of my MySpace, right? As long as we both agree to go ahead and just never have social media. We'll be straight. We were just one of those type of people. Yeah. And it wasn't until I became a realtor when I said, yo, listen, everybody keeps telling me that I have to sell to my sphere of influence. Do you mind if I make a Facebook? And then it came into Instagram, right? So in all reality, she just never really indulged in it. Yeah. But I will say this, bro, that she also kind of sees me behind the scenes. I be going through it, bro. Because every single day I got to post. Every single day I got to put a story up. Every single day I got to, you know what I'm saying, sit up here and just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not playing this role that I'm not. But it's just one of those things, imagine being on a TV show. And you know what I'm saying? So sometimes I'm like, damn, I just want to take a break. But if I take a break, you know how it is. You ain't making no money.
I'm the same way, bro. That, like, delivering content every day, bro, that shit is stressful, bro.
And it costs a lot of money.
That shit is stressful, bro. I'd be like, damn, I took a break the last week of the year, bro. It felt so good. I ain't want to get on social media. I ain't post or nothing. It felt good to, like, just sit back and just
chill.
Yeah.
Just chill. Just manifest.
Yeah. Like, social media and everything, like, you know, some people, they live for that. Like, that's their life. You know, them likes, you know what I'm saying, the comments, like, that's what feeds that they need that.
Exactly.
I don't need it. Like, if I didn't have to have social media for this, I wouldn't even use it, bro. I would disappear. Matter of fact, when I get my $100 million check, bro, I'm out of here, bro. I'm gonna go like disappear for a month or 2.
Yeah.
Or 3, bro.
That's what I've been hearing you like embrace that. Man, a lot of times you gotta manifest what you're looking at. It's very hard for you to get somewhere if you don't even know where you're going. You get what I'm saying? Like, and that's one thing that I learned is that you gotta plan out what's going on. Once I found out, okay, what is real estate wholesaling? You know what I'm saying? How am I gonna do this? And then how am I gonna keep on doing this? And then once I get to this level, I'm gonna quit my job.
Yeah.
It happened.
One thing I learned too, man, you just gotta let go, right? You gotta do your part and just believe, right? I'm doing my part. I'm creating the content. I got the brand. I'm doing my part, and I'm just letting the universe work, right? Not even trying to stress like when is it gonna happen or like when I'm gonna get this big bag or like whatever. Like I don't even stress it. When I'm gonna get these type of guests, I'm do my part.
Let it come.
And it just let it come, bro. Like I just gotta just freely flow through this realm.
Yeah.
But like I always do it, right? I always manifest different things. And sometimes like you kind of like you stress about like different things, like okay, this shit might not happen, or like let me make it happen, or like I don't have to.
Yeah, 'cause like I said, bro, your timing is always wrong, but God's timing is always right.
It's not on my time. Like it's gonna.
It's
happen
not on
when
your
it's
time,
supposed to.
bro.
It's gonna happen when it's supposed to.
Exactly,
Man.
and it will happen because the work always pays.
Right.
The work always pays.
It's gonna happen as long as I don't quit.
100%.
Because the day that I quit is the day
It's
it
over
will
with.
happen.
It's over with. It's over with, bro. It's over with.
That is a fact, man.
It's over with.
I've been living my life like this for a very long time though, like, but it's been getting stronger and stronger, like as I've been getting older and starting to understand like life. Like we are creators. Us humans, like everything that you see right here, everything that's in the world, a human brain thought of this and put it in front of us. Like we can manifest anything. Somebody thought in their mind like, yo, I'm gonna make a fucking machine that counts money. Just a thought.
Yeah.
It sparked. And I went to creating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what it is. Everything in this world. And every human has that same power.
Yeah. You just gotta have, once again, that motivator to keep you going.
You need a motivator.
Going back to that, right? Like always, because sometimes your why changes.
Yeah.
I don't know if your why has changed for you as your entrepreneurship journey, you know, has started. But my why changed. You know, like I said, I wanted to prove my family and my dad wrong. Then after that, I just wanted to go ahead and, you know, retire my girl and do certain things. And now I just want to keep helping people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But one of the things that I had to do to keep me up motivated was, bro, I had to go ahead and put all my money into an account where I didn't have the online access online.
Yeah.
And what I just did was just use a credit card. And if it worked, it worked. I didn't know what I had. It's kind of like going into like a cold plunge and living off that, you know, kind of that fear factor again.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to reset your life to get you up and going again. And you just got to manifest them goals, bro.
You know what's my why? I feel like I'm the one, right? In my family, I don't feel like there's anybody that's going to do what I'm about to do. There's nobody that's going to set the next generation up. There's nobody that's going to lift my family up. I am the chosen one. So that's what every day I wake up, every day I get stressed out and I'm like, man, damn, I don't feel like doing this shit.
Yeah.
I got to sacrifice myself.
Bro.
I mean, this life, I got to sacrifice for my family and the next. So I'm going to be the one.
You preaching to the choir. That's exactly how I felt. If it ain't me, then who?
If it ain't me, then who?
Who's going to be the first person to make 6 figures? Who's going to be the first person to make 7 figures?
8,
Who's
9.
going to be the first person to take the whole family to vacation? 2019, me and my grandma, we share our same birthday.
Yeah.
We both Scorpios. My grandma, I told my grandma, I said, hey, I'm going to go to Puerto Rico for my birthday. I want you to come. She said, nah, because then nobody else would be able to come. I took everybody.
That's a wonderful feeling, bro.
Oh, bro, it was a wonderful feeling.
That's a wonderful feeling.
Being able to just say, don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
I literally looked at my top 5. I don't know if you remember back in the day, you used to have top 5 on the phone.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, if it ain't me, then who? Who's going to host the baby showers? Who's going to be able to take care of the bill?
Yeah.
Who's going to be able to, do all these types of things that we just don't learn? So I'm with you. I definitely understand, bro. One of my biggest sayings, too, is get rich or die trying.
Get rich or die trying. Y'all was just listening to that album yesterday. I swear to God. Get rich or die trying, bro.
Okay, you can't take it to the grave with you? What else you going to do?
That's a fact, bro. I'm a sacrifice, bro. I'm putting this shit on my back. Put the fam on my back, bro, and just keep it moving. Like,
Yeah. Because a lot of the times, bro, we want things that we don't deserve. Like, people take vacations like, bro, you ain't even work. The real flex is having your vacation paid for before you get back.
Yeah. Oof.
The real flex is understanding that every single time you spend $1, you're getting incentivized because you're using credit. The real flex is understanding that you can never have more money than the bank. So as long as you build your credit up, you will always be able to go ahead and get more money.
Right.
But these are just things that we're just not taught as young minorities, bro,
Mm-hmm.
in the neighborhoods that we come from. And it's sad. That's what the school system failed us. They told us to not be a copycat, but in all reality, as long as you copy the right cat, you're always going to win. My bad, I ain't even going to rant, bro.
No, that was a bar, yo. Don't be a copycat, but as long as you copy the right cat. No, that's a bar. Because you're going to have to copy somebody, bro.
Bro, you can't you got to understand something, bro. Everything, of course, there's inventions, right? But the process of how it was probably done was already curated by somebody else. And everything is wholesale. We wholesale information.
Yeah.
We wholesale clothes. We wholesale food. Everything is wholesale. So what you do is you package it up into what how you spit it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's where they failed us at, bro. I think that the school system should be teaching us more so how to leverage credit, how to money manage, sales, how to build a brand. You know what I'm saying?
Marketing.
These are the things that we need to be taught in school. You know what I'm saying? Like, I no disrespect to Edgar Allan Poe, but I just don't give a fuck.
Right. History, like
I'm sorry. I just don't. I'm sorry. I just don't care.
What did you use atoms and neutrons like since you left fucking school?
Not at all.
Did you use calculus? Did you use fucking geometry?
I graduated with a 2.2 GPA.
Man.
And you know what I've learned, bro? See, a lot of the times, my teacher used to tell me, Brandon, stop being a class clown. But that's literally what's helped me make money.
Right.
What's helped me make money is literally the fact that I am able to cameras and be vulgar and outspoken. And the people that do like me, the people that don't. But it's okay because I'm giving value and I'm resonating with somebody. So being a class clown, shout out to my teacher, is actually helping me make money. When I was in high school, they said, yo, Brandon, listen, you're always on your phone. I'm on my phone now, teacher.
Yeah, I was a class clown too, bro.
This device right here, listen.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my C students. What is C students? That means you're a closer. C stands for closer.
Yeah.
You closing in some type of way, bro. So an entrepreneur is just gonna do, like in school you were doing just bare minimum because of why? You're going against the grain. You're not following everybody else. What happens with school, bro, is that you go to school for like a third of your life, right? Let's say 12 years, the case may be, right? And what they do is they breed employees. They teach you, number one, how to meet a quota, right? A's and B's. To keep on showing up. But then after you graduate, why you still need on-the-job training?
Right.
Why is the person that's is only your boss because he's been there longer than you?
Right.
And then at that point in time, you start to understand that they're hiring you because of the fact that they know that you're willing to show up and that you will always meet the status quota. You are a reliable person. They attach a number to your head saying, yo, listen, you're worth $12.50 an hour. I remember having paid time off, bro, and once I took the paid time off, I didn't have no money to go on vacation.
Man, I ain't worked in 12 years.
Wow.
I ain't worked in 12 years, bro.
Salute.
I learned early on, like, yo, this is not it. This paycheck is not it, bro. Like working, slaving, this ain't for me. This is not for me, bro. College, it is not. Like, yo, what am I in college for? I had really had to think about it. Like, I was smart as fuck, but I just couldn't make good grades.
Yeah.
I wasn't interested enough. Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
It's like, yo, okay, if I go get this degree, I'm gonna go get this job, and then damn, how much is y'all really gonna pay me? Oh, nah, I
Started on this, bro.
Oh, I gotta go.
Because I'm gonna tell you this, right? When I volunteered at the hospital for 4 months, and after I volunteered at the hospital for 4 months, bro, I was literally like, yo, I wanna, you know what I'm saying, get a job here so I can look good and learn. Obviously, I wanted to be a nurse. And when I started working there, I worked there actually for a long time, bro. I started to look at my boss, right? So a lot of the times, y'all, you have to look at your boss, right? If your boss has been there for 10 years, you've been there for 2 years, and you think that he's getting paid around $30 an hour, that means that you need another 8 years to go ahead and get that pay. Hopefully he resigns, or hopefully they promote you.
Yeah.
But if you're not happy with making $30 an hour, you need to quit immediately.
Immediately.
If the CEO of your company is making $250,000 a year, and you don't like that, you need to quit immediately.
When last time you had a job?
Last time I had a job, I guess being a realtor, 2017.
Okay.
Because I still had to like report. I still had to do things. As far as me waking up when I want to wake up, but I haven't report to anybody. I was 17. That's when I started wholesaling.
Now that you're your own boss, though, like how do you stick to a schedule? How do you force yourself? You know.
Great question. So what I do, man. Number one is I try to plan my day out before, and now what I started to do is called focus sprints. So what I'll do is I go ahead and set, I guess you could say agenda of list of items that I have to go ahead and do for 90 minutes. And I'll go into like maybe my office. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I knock out whatever I need to knock out. If I don't finish it in time, alarm goes off, I take a break. I might go ahead and, you know, go read a book, or I might look on social media, whatever the case may be. Because what happens is, bro, you have 30,000 thoughts going through your head, and your mind subconsciously is always pushing you away from the hard work.
Yeah.
Always. So what happens is, right, as an entrepreneur, bro, you wake up, you're ready to. Now what you want to go ahead and do is you want to go ahead and maybe eat. But now you a little settled, right? You kind of feel a little lazy. You got to get a little pump in. So then you go ahead and I'm going to go to the gym real quick, right? Then you go to the gym, right? Now you got to eat again, right? Now you got to take a shit. By the time you around and your whole day is gone. And now you got to go ahead and try to get that work in. And by the time you come around, it's already getting dark. You're like, you know what? Let me get that Red Bull, or I'll just get at it tomorrow.
I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow the same shit.
Tomorrow the same shit.
Yeah.
Have you been a victim of that?
Man, what?
Many times. So what I do now is I do the focus sprints that, like I said, I just put on a timer, 90 minutes. I have a list of things that I need to tackle. If I don't finish it out, I take a break, and then I go to another part of my house.
Yeah.
Now I have a new setting, finish it out, tackle that stuff, meetings in between, finish out my day.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with that, bro. Like scheduling and knocking out a bunch of things, or like I'm still just trying to get better every day, bro.
Here's one thing that I look at, right? And this is something I say repeatedly in my mind. If I don't do this one thing, what are my children going to think of me? Because my ancestors, my grandma, her mom, her dad, right? They were immigrants.
Yeah.
If they didn't sacrifice whatever they did, I wouldn't be here in America. So that's the way I look at it. I say it ain't about me, but it's about the.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I might be on social media and I'm like, oh shit, income producing activity. This is not, depending on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I'm looking at bullshit, it's not an income producing activity.
Yeah.
If I'm posting, income producing activity. So a lot of the times, just ask yourself really quickly, kind of like, you know, when they talk about the rubber bands when you snap yourself, ask yourself real quick, is this an income producing activity? Does this align with my goals? Is this gonna go ahead and make me that $100,000 that I wanted to do this year? Let me snap out.
That what's up. I gotta do this shit this year, bro. Like, real shit. Like it's you know, sometimes like, okay, well, I know I did my part, right? I did my content, and you know what I'm saying, I posted. That ain't enough though. Like I can knock out so many things. There's so many things that I gotta do and accomplish in a year. I can't just be comfortable with just the content, like the podcast stuff, like so many other things. Like I told myself I was gonna make a funnel. Man, I told myself that 3-4 days ago, and I still ain't. And today I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
I need to get this shit done, bro. I gotta force myself because ain't nobody gonna come and be like, yo,
Nobody coming to save
go do
you.
that. Go do. You ain't got no teacher. You ain't got no parent telling you, yo, go do this. It's all on you, bro.
Facts.
And if you don't do it, like you gonna suffer the consequences. Matter of fact, not even you gonna suffer. The family, the next generations, like you said.
That's what they don't know, man. Right now, there's people relying on you to make it. You might not even know that because they might not tell you that.
Yeah.
But there's people relying on you to make it. And there's people relying on you to fall.
Ooh, to fall.
It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you just got to keep on, you just got to stay grounded and keep doing what you're doing. Sponsored by God.
Sponsored by God. That what's up, bro. It was a good ass interview, bro.
Yeah, man.
It was a good interview.
Yeah.
I think it's typically longer than what I go for. I can't even see what that to say. I think it's I win.
Listen, can I tell them where to tap in with me at?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ask me.
No.
Oh.
You just go ahead. I'll tell you later.
Okay. So yeah, man, listen, if you guys want to go ahead and tap in with me, you can go on at Blue Notes Branding on social media. And also you can text REI to 74121. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys what's called my 10K zip. It's the hottest zip codes throughout the nation where you can go ahead and start learning how to invest in real estate.
All right. So I appreciate you guys tapping in. This is Rich and Unemployed, the podcast. Until we meet again. Dope interview, bro.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.